everyone, thank you for clicking on the channel. If this is your first time, you're very welcome. On this channel we learn pattern drafting and sewing. So for today's tutorial we are on the trouser series. So the first class here we learned how to take the proper measurement for a trouser. So this is going to be an interesting series. We also have other series like the blouse series, the skirt series. So you can do well to check on those classes too. So today, this is the second session for the trouser series. And in this class, we are going to learn how to draw the basic trouser pattern. So I want to believe that I have beginners watching this video and I have those that want to start learning pattern drafting. So I'm going to make it as simple as possible. I'm not going to rush it, but I would also advise that you watch it more than once for you to be able to understand it properly. I'm bringing you the simplest way of drafting your trousers, and I'm sure if you go with this class, you are going to get your trousers perfectly. So the first thing we are going to do before we start, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell and like the channel if you like what you are saying, so that you don't miss any other pattern tutorial. Please subscribe. So the first thing we are going to do here today is to draw a line. So on my pattern here, I have a long paper here for my pattern. So the first thing you will do is on the top side of your pattern, you measure 3 inches. And then on the side here, you measure 3 inches, just like I have done. This is from here, from the top to this place is 3, and the side here is also 3. It's important for us to do that. You will know why later. And then the next thing we'll do is the measurement. Yeah, in the first video I already explained the different body measurements we'll be needing to draft your trousers. So please check that video. It is very important for you to watch it so that you can have a proper understanding of what we are doing here. So now the first thing we will do is to take the length of the trouser we are making. So for this tutorial we are using length 40 for this tutorial. So from the very top I'm going to measure 40 all the way down here. So for me to have a straight line, I'm going to do the same thing on the other end here. I'm going to measure 40. Okay, so that is the length we'll be working with. I'm going to take it slowly so that you can understand it properly. Yeah, so that you can have a good understanding of what we are doing. So now we've taken the length, the trouser length. So the next thing you want to do here is to get your hip measurement and divide the hip measurement by 4. Divide your hip measurement by 4. So if you divide your hip measurement, the hip measurement we are using for this pattern is hip 46. So if I divide hip 46 by 4, I will get 11.5. So this is 11.5 here, and I'm going to use that 11.5 to make a square this way. So this is 11.5. On the top here, I'm going to measure the same 11.5. Now, I'm going to measure 11.5 down. And then from here, you can see from here to the end is also 11.5. And when that is done, I'm going to square it this way. I'm going to square it up this way. Okay, so that is our hip measurement divided by 4. So the next thing we'll do is to take the hip measurement, the hip line. So the hip line for this measurement is hip 9. So the hip line is from the top, from the very top. I'm marking the hip line. The hip line is 9. So that is 9. I'm also going to rule it this way. If you follow this method, you will see that it's very easy to make your trousers. So now that we have that, we are going to take here, from the top here, we will measure our waist measurement, the waist measurement. And the waist measurement we are using for this pattern is waist 34. 34 divided by 4 will give me 8.5. So my 8.5 will be here. But remember, we are going to add a dot. So instead of 8.5, I'm going to measure 9.5. So the 9.5 will be here. And then from that 9.5, I will connect it to the hip line like that. From the hip line to the 9.5, and then I will go up by ½ inch. I'm using the same slant line because I want the ½ inch to be slanted too. So that is ½ inch on the top there. Then I am going to divide here on the waistline. I'm going to divide this waistline by 2. I want to get the midpoint of this waistline. So here I have the midpoint of the waistline. So for me to get a straight line, I will just measure from here to this place. So that is 4.75. On the waistline here, I would also mark the 4.75 because I want to get a straight line here. So this is it. I'm going to roll it up. That is the straight line. I think I need to change this pen. Okay, so on both sides here, on both sides of the dots, I will take in 0.5 on both sides. 0.5, 0.5. And then I will go down by 4.5. And then I would mark the bust, the dot. So that is the dot intake. This draft we are making now is the front side. You know that the trousers, you have the front and then you have the back. So this draft we are making now is half of the front, half of the front. And you know, when we draft half of a side, we just duplicate it. We'll cut out 2 of these, and this on the other side will make the both legs in front. So now that that is done, the next thing we will do is to connect the ½ inch dot line to the first dot leg here. So I hope you can see that. So the next thing we will do is we want to get the crotch line for this draft. And how do you get your crotch line? The crotch line is your hip measurement divided by 20. So if we divide 46 by 20, we'll get 2.3, and then you will place the 2.3 after this extension. This here is the crotch line here. The crotch line, remember the crotch line we did. This is the crotch line where the first crotch line we did to square up the box. Let me just use this pen so that you can see clearly. That is it. So from this crotch line here, that is where you're going to put your 2.3. Please make sure you use your own measurement. Divide the hip by 20, and whatever value you get, you put it here, and this will become the crotch extension. Then on the hip line here, let me use this to. On the hip line here, it will come out by 0.5 here. 0.5, because we want to connect this crotch line to this line and we want to have it accurately done. So that is why I'm coming out by 0.5 there, and then you will hold your curve ruler this way and connect like that. I hope you can see that. It's very easy. It's very easy. So let me just use this same pen to complete this. Remember, these are waistline here. So now that that is done, the next thing we are going to do here is to look for the midpoint of this crotch line here. The midpoint of the crotch line here. So I want to use the new pen to mark out the length of the trouser. I want to use this new pen so that you can see it properly. My beautiful people. Okay, so this is the length. Remember, we've taken this, the length of the trouser here, which is 40. So to get the midpoint of this trouser, we'll come to the crotch line here and divide it by 2. We'll get the midpoint. So here I have 14. So if you divide 14 by 2, or if you do this just like I like to get my midpoint, you have here 7. So I'm going to break the same 7 here so that I can have a straight line. 7 from the line, from this center line. Remember, from this center line here is 7, and I'm going to mark it straight down. That's the center of the crotch line. You can see that our trousers is taking shape. It's taking shape. So now the next thing we will do is we want to get the half of this length. From the length here to the crotch, we want to mark the new length here. And to get the new length, you take the measurement from the crotch to the bottom here. You will divide it, you get the center point. So for this one, this is the middle point. And then you will go up by 1.5. You'll go up by 1.5 from that midpoint. And then when you get that, you will draw a straight line. Like that. You will draw a straight line. Now, this straight line here, that is where we are going to put our new measurement. Our new measurement here. This is the ankle of the trousers. This is the nail. So for us to get the nail measurement, the round nail, the circumference of our nail is 18. We are using 18 for this draft. So if we say 18 and you divide 18 by 2. Yes, you divide 18 by 2, that will be 9. But you know, this is one leg, and if everything is 18, it means that we have to share it in front. So 18, if we divide 18 by 2, that will be 9. So it means everything in front here should be 9, while the one at the back too should be 9. That will be 18. So since we need 9 for the whole front, we are going to divide the 9 here. So on this side, I'm going to have 4.5, and then here will be the 9. I hope you understand that here. So for the nail and for the ankle here, we are making use of measurement 14 here. So we are going to do the same thing. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So that means that the whole of this place should be 7. So what we are going to do is we will put the 7 half of 7 is 3.5. So this is 3.5, and here. So from here to this place now is 7. I hope you understand that. Then the next thing we'll do is to connect the lines together. From the ankle here, from the ankle to the nail, like that. And then from the nail to the waist, to the to the first crotch line, like that. So you can see. And then on this side too, we are going to connect the nail to the ankle, like that. And then I'm going to use my curved ruler here, because this place is not supposed to be straight. I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect this part to the crotch line. I hope you can see that it's coming out beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this here is our front, this is our front draft. So now you can see the length. If you are going to make these trousers a basic trousers, this is like a pencil. You can see that it's coming down. If you are going to make it a basic, then it means you are going to use the same length measurement for the nail and the ankle. So that we are going to do in the other variation, because we are going to make other patterns. We are going to, this draft we are making, we are going to turn it into palazzo, we are going to turn it into bell bottom, we are going to make short out of it, we are going to make romper out of it. So it's going to be a whole lot of series, and I know you would not want to miss it. So please subscribe so that you will be notified anytime the other series is out. So now we are done with the front pattern. This is the front pattern. So the next thing is, let's quickly go to the back pattern. So the way we do it, we are still going to use this same pattern. This is where we are going to put our back pattern too. So just pay attention. It is very easy, and I know that you are going to get it right. So okay, before we start with the back pattern, remember this is the front pattern, and then the front pattern here, the center front, we should come down by 1 inch here and connect it here. You close this dart. Before you do that, you will close this first dart, and then you will use your curved ruler to connect this slope here. So this is going to help to eliminate any form of front puff. Okay, so let's move on to the back pattern now. So we're starting with the back pattern. So I would advise that you use a different pen for the front and the back so that you don't get confused. Use another pen. So I'm going to be using red pen for the back pattern. So just pay attention. This one too is very easy. So for the back pattern, we are going to start the back pattern from this line. Look at this line here. We're going to start from this line here. So from this line here, I'm going to come here and mark 1 inch in this way. 1 inch from this line here. I'm marking 1 inch. And then on the top here, I will mark 2 inches. Like that. And then I will connect both lines together. The 1 inch and the 2 this way. And then on this side here, on the top side here, I will also go up, but this time around I will go up by 2 inches. If the person you are making if the person you are making this pattern for has a big bum, then you go up by 2 inches. But if the person does not have a big bum, you just go up by 1 here, you go up by 1.5. You go up by 1.5. But if the person has a big bum, then you go up by 2. This draft, the person has a big bum, so that's why we're using 2 here. If the person has a small bum, you can just use 1.5. That will be fine. So now that that is done here, the next thing we will do is we will take from this line here, we are going to take the waist measurement. Yes, from here we are going to take the waist measurement. So you remember the waist measurement we are using for this pattern is waist 34. 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. 8.5 plus 1 inch, that allowance is 9.5. So this is 9.5 here. This is 9.5 on this spot. So where I have the 9.5, I will go up by ½ inch. Remember, on this front side we went up by ½ inch. That's why I'm going up this way too, by the same ½ inch. So I'm going to connect this 2 here. I'm going to connect this one to this ½ inch like that. Okay, so I hope you can see that. So the next thing we will do is we will look for the midpoint of this draft here. This 9.5 here. The midpoint here will be here. And then the dot, ½ inch on both sides, like that and like that. Okay, so here the dot line here will not be straight. Because this itself is not straight. It's slanty. It's not straight. So the dark line will not be straight. So I'm going to come down here using the lines here. The lines on this ruler. For the back dart, I'm going to come down by 5.5. For the front dart it was 4, but for the back dart is 5.5. And then I'm going to draw my dart line this way and this way. Okay, so I hope you can see that. So let's leave this part and move on to this line here where we have the crotch. Let's move on to this line here where we have the crotch measurement. Now the crotch for the back, the crotch for the front was the hip line divided by 20, but for the back it's going to be hip line divided by 10. It's going to be hip line divided by 10, not 20. Hip line divided by 10. So if we divide the back hip, if we divide it by 10, we will get, sorry, I had to. So that is 46 divided by 10. So that will be 4.6. So from here, I will take my 4.6. 4.6 this way. So my 4.6 will be here. On the same line, 4.6. And then here, on the hip line, I will still come out by that 0.25. The same way we did for the front line, and then we will connect it to the body. So what we'll do is we'll connect first from this crotch line all the way to where I have the 2.5, and then I will do this to connect it properly to the body. I hope you can see this. I'm taking everything slowly so that you can understand it, my beautiful people. So on this line here, we are going to take the hip measurement for the back draft, the hip measurement for the back draft. And then look at this place. I'm going to extend this line out, the hip line here and the crotch line here. I'm going to extend it out and tell you why. So here we're going to measure the hip line now for the back. So it's still the same thing. Hip divided by 4 will still give me 11.5. So from here I'll take 11.5. I'll mark my 11.5 here. So because I want to get a straight line here, I'll just mark what I have left here, which is like 1.75. So here 1.75, because I want to get the same line, and then I will square it, I'll roll it up like that. So I hope you can see that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join the line here to the waist. This is the waist here, so I'm going to join it to the waist. So that is for our back measurement. So for the bottom part here, what we'll just do is on the new line we'll add 0.5 out, and here we'll add 0.5 on the outer seam. That is for the back. On the hemline we'll do the same thing. We'll add 0.5 here on the outer seam and 0.5 here on the outer seam, and then we will connect the lines together this way, and then here to the back here. So you can see that the side of the back line is drawn. So for this side too, I will do the same thing, and then I'll use my curve ruler here, just the same way we did the front. You can see that this is very easy, very easy, very simple, very easy. So that is all. We are done. So that is it for our basic trouser draft. So you can see that the purple mark, that is our front, and then the red mark, that is the back. So that will be that for the drafting of this pattern. This is very easy. If you take your time and watch it again, you will understand it properly, especially for those that are beginners. It is very easy. So the next tutorial, the next drafting we'll be having, we are going to separate the front from the back, because if we want to put this on our fabric, there is no way we can put the two together. So I'm going to tell you how you're going to separate the front and separate it to the back, and then how we're going to add our sewing allowance. We will also add a pocket, a side pocket. I'm going to tell you how you're going to add your band, and then your zipper fly. If you want to have a zipper fly in front, we are going to do that too. And if you want to have your zip at the side, we are going to have that too. So with the other stuff that I told you that I'm going to make. So if you have enjoyed this class, please, I want you to leave a comment on the comment section telling me how much you have enjoyed the class. And if there's anything that you don't understand, please just ask your question. I will be there to answer the question. If you have not subscribed, subscribe so that you can learn more. Pattern drafting is very easy. It's very easy. It's very simple. If you know it, you would enjoy what you are doing. You can see your style even before you transfer to your fabric. So I will see you in the next class. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, tell me something on the comment section, and do have a splendid day. Thank you.